It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 6 minutes after the hour. That is highly inappropriate. Everything we were just discussing during the show.
What?
I'm drinking.
Because my little mini fridge out there looks like a frat house mini fridge because I filled it with Shock Top beer for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Because Happy Hour podcast coming up this week.
I classed up. I drank a martini.
Okay, yeah, I have vodka for you. We're all set. This is mostly what my week consists of now is shopping for alcoholic beverages.
I want to loop back to that because I bought a big giant bottle of really nice vodka for you.
Yes.
For the happy hour with
my friends are drunks, and it is gone. I don't drink vodka.
2 drinks were taken out of that during the happy hour.
I apologize. Some of my friends are drunks, and that is gone now, so I had to buy another one. Okay, so... Somehow we got talking about various disgusting drinks.
Yes.
Some with grenadine that look bloody. And,
well,
someone is going to...
We called it a brain.
In honor of Ebola, someone's going to come up with the bloody eyeball. I'm telling you right now.
Oh.
Right? There's going to be an olive, grenadine, you know.
How do you make a brain tumor?
The brain tumor is you take really, really bad, cheap vodka. I suggest something in a plastic bottle.
Right.
And then you drizzle Bailey's over the top of it. Which makes
it coagulate and curdle.
Oh, like a brain.
And then you dribble
grenadine
through it.
And you drip grenadine through it and makes it look bloody.
And little veins of coagulated.
Uh-huh.
I did a shot of those on my 21st birthday, and I didn't know what it was.
And you didn't know it coagulated and you could chew it?
Didn't know that. And I did threw the shot back, and this chunk of Bailey's at the back of my throat. I thought I was going to throw up in the bar. It was... awful.
They used to do something with gelatin and I don't know, vodka, tomato chop. Well, right, except they called it like a blood clot because it was like that. It was like a.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
All right. Good morning.
It was like an aspic.
Yeah, something like that. But with booze in it. I don't know. A blood clot. All right, everybody. Look alive. We have a big show coming up. Tina Dupuy at the bottom of the hour. Charlie Pierce, Bob Seska.
An alcoholic aspic.
Yes.
Oh. That's, oh my God.
It was called a blood clot, I'm telling you. All right. Nobody come up with the bloody Ebola eyeball. Don't do it.
You're looking at me like that's my project for this Thursday's happy hour.
Do it.
You know what? I'm just saying. The news today encourages a lot of drinking. We've got mysterious killer clowns. We've got Ebola. We have ISIS. What the...
Oh, and also, the World Health Organization just came out with a report saying that for the next few months, we could have 100,000 new cases of Ebola per week.
Yes, I see that here.
Oh, my God.
Yes. Breaking news, up to 10,000 new cases of Ebola per week in 2 months.
Yeah.
Leave it to me to get the news correct. Okay.
Well, I was just doing it
off the top of my head. You are exactly what Bob Seska is talking about. It is
hysteria.
Mindless fear-mongering in the media.
No.
Because
don't even put that on me. Don't even put that on me.
1 million people have gotten Ebola since I just said this. All right.
I'm going to do the rest of the show in a hazmat suit.
Listen, let's focus on mysterious clowns terrorizing Bakersfield, California.
Yes.
First of all, you're in Bakersfield, so you're already terrorized.
Just look in my backyard.
Stop
This is where I grew up at.
I'm sure we have listeners in Bakersfield.
Hi. It's like a scene from a horror film. Residents of a California city are being terrorized by people dressed as clowns, some reportedly wielding machetes or baseball bats. There's a natural phobia of clowns, said Chief of the Bakersfield Police. Who doesn't have clown phobia?
I don't.
Creepy. You'd just be like, oh, thank God I only have Ebola. Thank God there's not clowns.
Yeah, exactly. What about clowns with Ebola?
Clearly.
And you would never know because they have that red makeup around their eyes.
Right.
That's how they get you.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, if someone is dressed up as a clown and holding a weapon in a threatening manner, that's going to frighten people. Forget the weapon.
I don't need a clown. Just a weapon would scare me.
There have been 20 sightings in a week, but only one clown has landed in cuffs. They're slippery characters. Mm-hmm. Bakersfield police arrested one juvenile last week for allegedly chasing other juveniles while in a clown costume. Shouldn't there be a life sentence for that? I think so.
Yes.
I think nothing good is going to come of your life after that.
I'm thinking they should be easy to find if there's 20 of them that can all fit in one car, right?
Right, exactly. You only need one police cruiser. Let's get this done.
They're all riding around in one car together.
Let's get this done, Bakersfield PD. Let's get them all in one car. Let's shut this thing down.
They can do it. Those clowns
This isn't ISIS, my friends. Just hit them all in the car.
We're playing the wrong music.
Yes.
Let's go. All of you.
Now.
A 14-year-old suspect told police he was participating in a hoax he had seen online. All right, get in the car. Get in the car. Rest of you clowns, too.
And
Oh, look, it's the 2016 Republican presidential field. Hi.
Travis and I were talking before the show, before you even got down here, and I seem to think it's like a PR stunt for American Horror Story Freak Show. Because there's a storyline in the new American Horror Story about a killer clown that goes around stabbing people.
I just think people in the valley are bored and messed up.
Right.
That's why I got the hell out of there.
Right. What is there to do in Fresno or Bakersfield or anywhere?
Well, at least Fresno is a city.
Well, no, Bakersfield is too.
Is it? We live in California. We're like, really?
It's like Fresno's one armpit of California, and Bakersfield is the other one that doesn't have deodorant.
Bakersfield has one mall.
All right.
Really?
Which is, if you're a killer clown, that's where you would go for your victims. I'm just
mall.
guessing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They only have one mall.
It's not like I drive from Fresno to Bakersfield for high-end shopping. Thank you.
Come on, it's the other way around. Bakersfield drives to Fresno for high-end shopping.
Wonder
When they come to L.A., it's just as close.
No wonder all Mama Bone does is make cobbler. What else is there to do?
Cobbler and pomegranate
She wakes
jam.
up. I know. I'll make another cobbler.
Right now it's ground squirrels.
She makes ground
No,
squirrels?
she's in a battle with them.
Oh.
They're destroying the pomegranates, which means no pomegranate jam this year.
So she's just up there with a
hoe.
with a shotgun and
With a hoe.
She's basically Bill Murray in Caddyshack.
You use the hoe to get the snakes, not the ground squirrels.
Okay.
Does she sit in a rocking chair with whiskey and a shotgun? Travis, Mama got another one.
I introduced her to Fireball whiskey this year.
Okay. All right. Here's another story about how I'm always right. Not only always right, but I'm a good 5 to 10 minutes ahead of my time.
Sure.
A lot of talk about science these days with the. Hey, you know, as it turned out, cutting the funding for science about stuff like, I'm just going to say Ebola.
Yeah.
It's actually hurt in the fight against Ebola.
Yeah.
Wow, who would have thought that?
Yes. Science. Yes. And
Kind of like when Bobby Jindal said earthquake monitoring or volcano monitoring.
Right.
And volcano
Right, exactly. Republicans and science. Exactly. There's volcano monitoring. What a crazy. Really? That's a waste of money. And then right behind him, I swear to God, was not green screen. It was like,
Oh.
Yeah, and this is what when they cut the funding for, like, Ebola. Like, that's gonna happen. Okay, so, right, and then Obama, you know, phone, pen.
Obama!
Hitler, and the czars. Now a warning, now you think we need a czar. Now a warning? Surgeon General, that might have been a good idea.
Funding to science, no Surgeon General.
Yeah.
Thanks, Republicans.
Funding for things like, diseases of some sort. Okay.
We're all going to die.
You know what? What are my chances of becoming a Surgeon General? Pretty good, because after this, I think they will be.
We need one.
There's an
They could serve as an Ebola czar.
A University of England study encouraging students to pee in the shower to save money.
Oh.
Save water.
Are we going back to that old
water.
discussion?
Who pees in the shower? Who's ahead of me? Yes.
I also heard that's good for athlete's foot. And you spin a lot.
First of all, I am environmentally conscious. Second of all, we are in a drought out here in California. Be responsible, people. And now look at this. Grabbing my thunder. University of England. Okay. Let's see. It's called the Go With The Flow campaign. Recommending all 15,000 students at the university urinate in the shower. They said the project could save enough water to fill Olympian-sized swimming pools 26 times. Fill an Olympic pool 26 times. Just the kids at that school. Think about it.
If we all pitched in and peed in the shower together.
Listen, let's not. You can.
Not together, alone.
No, your own shower's fine.
I think we've established that someone has peed
water.
on you before in the shower.
Was that intentional?
Or maybe I've done it. I don't remember.
But
It's
we've
funny.
had this discussion before.
Yes, it's funny. It's like marking your territory. And you're also saving water at the same time.
This was before my time on the show.
Okay.
I feel differently about when I have
got to
stuff
find
for you
people
now.
that do not know me for this long. I've got to find someone.
We have listeners that have been listening to us for that long.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well, I need to get rid of all y'alls and start all over again, like in sports radio or something.
You need to find some people who don't know anything about you, so
Right,
you can't
exactly.
tell these stories.
I need
Like the Pontillo brothers.
Is there some way I can bring in a new crew every week that just this all seems shiny new? All right. All right, yes. Lots of up-to-date Ebola stuff, as we were saying. So, oh, by the way.
What?
You know me, dog lover.
Oh.
Thank God. The Dallas girls, they're not going to kill her dog. I know that's not the biggest story.
Are they going to keep it in quarantine?
The King Charles Spaniel.
Or are they just going to let it wander the streets?
Yes, sneezing on people.
Well, I don't know.
All right, we'll go. We'll give you all the latest details on that.
Watch out for dogs sneezing on people. They walk up to your face.
Guess who just got groomed yesterday? Max and Fran.
Where are they?
They'll be down in a minute. They're going to be so fluffy you could die.
Are they primping?
So fluffy. It's so fluffy. They're getting ready for their entrance. All right, 17 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie. You know, I'm never sure when we're on camera on Free Speech TV, and if people just saw you do that.
No, they didn't.
Okay. That was not Chris having a seizure or an orgasm. He was this guy. Remember that guy?
Ernest Angley.
Yeah, the
Reverend Ernest Angley.
Yeah, there's a little news about him.
Yep.
But that was someone getting a faith healing, right? When
he was one of the...
You are healed.
Right, he was one of the people, the original people that did faith healing on television way back in like the late 70s and early 80s.
Yep.
And he would, you are healed, and the people would go...
Right.
Yeah.
Just like that.
And start speaking in tongues and fall backwards.
Right.
And, yeah.
So I'm sure he can take care of Ebola, and it'll be... as soon as he gets through the unpleasantness, we'll get to later.
Oh, there is some unpleasantness.
Oh, dear. Ohio pastor forced vasectomies, abortions because kids divert money away from the church, according to a new report.
Yep, their money sucks.
Oh, dear. His focus may be diverted away from Ebola for a moment. Okay. Yeah, I remember. That's what got you hooked.
You know what? I have a fascination with televangelists. I always have, even though I'm an atheist. I, love the showmanship, and I, love, and I kind of feel sorry for the people who fall for it and all of that. And
it's still a great show.
It's a great show.
Tammy Faye and Jim, come on. Jimmy Swagger. I've seen them.
In the 80s, there was a whole channel, PTL channel. I used to watch that all the time and was fascinated
Jimmy
by
Swagger was the only man that ever cried more than John Bonham.
Yes. But Ernest Angley is the guy who started my fascination with televangelists.
Yeah, and that is quite a... you would think that he could heal... I don't know, his hair, his toupee, something. He would find a better...
Yeah.
God would have given him a better toupee than that.
He's a stereotype.
All right. Yeah, I said that looks like a Saturday Night Live sketch. Is that a real guy?
It's a real guy.
Okay. He's a real live boy. Yeah, so Bob Seska has a great piece. We'll talk to him later about just the... He was saying not since the run-up to the Iraq War has he felt like the media has been this irresponsible.
About Ebola?
Right.
Yes.
Well, first of all, what would you expect from CNN, who had the little toy plane during the whole Malaysia Airlines thing? I'm like, is he really holding a toy plane? But this is like when you have to fill 24/7. Anyway, he said he introduced someone as he wrote the book on Ebola. Mm-hmm. He wrote Outbreak. He wrote the fictional novel 30 years ago about Ebola. It was a fictional movie. It's not like...
Did he write was it the Hot Zone author?
No. I
so he was a screenwriter.
Yeah, we'll talk to... he wrote the novel. I'll find it anyway. But stuff like that, because it's a lot of people that are speculating, and obviously there's going to be enough fear revolving around that. A Louisiana waste disposal facility said Monday it would not accept the ash from the incineration of a Texas Ebola victim's belongings, at least not until state officials agree doing so would pose no threat to the public. And again, there's a difference between being cautious, which I think is good, and just mindless sort of fear-mongering and letting people on TV to just sort of speculate that don't have any, Anyway, I was saying for me, dog lover, I don't mean to focus on just the dogs, but that dog is so cute, that King Charles Spaniel. Anyway, the Dallas mayor has saved the Ebola dog. Okay. The Ebola patient's dog.
And now it's going to go around sneezing on people.
No, it is not.
Licking eyeballs.
Yes, the dog belonging to the Texas healthcare worker who contracted Ebola will be spared, the mayor of Dallas announced yesterday. It comes after, you remember, this is in Spain. It was a big deal. They euthanized the dog of the Ebola nurse there, prompting worldwide. May said she signed the petition. It was like more than 400,000 people signed the petition pleading for officials to spare the dog's life. In Spain, he was called Excalibur.
Yep.
He was not tested for Ebola before being put down.
He wasn't tested?
No. There is, as USA Today notes, no documented case of Ebola spreading to people from dogs. So, I get the caution and the fear and whatever, but, again, there is a thing called science that I guess we have to, I would tend to trust the people that have been checking into this for a few years. So the identity of the Dallas healthcare worker who contracted Ebola was revealed yesterday. 26 years old, beautiful.
Yeah.
Nina Pham, a nurse at the Dallas hospital where Thomas Eric Duncan died. The CDC director, Thomas Frieden, blamed the Dallas Ebola spread on a breach of protocol. I mean, obviously, right? He said he wouldn't be surprised if another hospital worker became ill. He said, unfortunately, it's people in the coming days. I think in the coming days we will see additional cases of Ebola. This is because healthcare workers who cared for this individual may have had a breach of the same nature. And again, I think I literally saw someone speculating about that. Wasn't there a scene in Outbreak or something of somebody's hazmat suit gets a cut in it or something? And
yeah. I mean, again, in every disease movie, there's something with that.
Right. So we're speculating on what. I mean, I think somebody was talking yesterday. I do think that there's a. I mean, I don't know what the protocol is, obviously, but they were saying that obviously they wear all this protective gear, this hazmat stuff, but they have to take it off at some point.
Yeah.
And it seems like.
Well, and also, in the 4 hospitals that deal with Ebola, their measures are a lot more severe. Like, they completely close up. In normal hospitals, they're not necessarily, they wear a mask, a shield over their face and a surgical mask, but they're not sealed up.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and this is heartbreaking because, I mean, obviously most people that go into nursing, her family says, I mean, she's obviously a big-hearted person that wants to and I think I was reading, she obviously was in his room a lot. I mean, she was caring she was with him every day. Yeah. I love this. U.S. health officials have urged U.S. hospitals to think Ebola. There's a catchy campaign, but have launched a series of review procedures for treating the infected, while the World Health Organization called the outbreak the most severe acute health emergency seen in modern times. I think by think Ebola, they mean obviously, and I think, by nature of what's happening, that's going to happen. It's just more top of mind. If you see certain symptoms, you ask about travel.
And if the patient says, hey, I just got back from Liberia.
Right. Although, speaking of unnecessary panic and fear, did you hear the one flight, a woman was, I don't know, she was sick. And they asked her, have you been to Africa? And she said, yes. Well, so then, of course, the whole plane panics.
But she'd been to South Africa.
But 10 years ago or something. It's like, okay, you need to ask, have you been to these countries recently? It turns out she was just airsick, you know. But then you have an entire plane full of people that now have, assumed the crash positions, Think to airplane, right?
Yeah.
All right. Senator John McCain, I'm going to guess that he has something. Do we need a czar now? Is that what we need?
There has to be more reassurance given to them. I would say that we don't know exactly who's in charge. There has to be some kind of czar.
Well, there has to be a czar now. So now he's not Hitler if he appoints a czar.
Yeah.
But normally when he appoints any kind of czar, he's Hitler.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I think a Surgeon General would be what.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we call we've previously known as a healthcare czar.
Yeah, exactly. And he did once say that President Obama has more czars than Catherine the Great.
But this one's okay because he says so.
Yeah, because But now we need one.
All right. Somebody time to change Grampy's bedpan. Okay, 29 minutes after the hour. Tina Dupuis next on the Stephanie Miller Show. Whatever. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Charlie Pierce, Bob Seska coming up on the big Tuesday show, and lots of news to get to. Why, look who's here.
Speaking of funny and smart, I want to bring on Tina Dupuis. Tina Dupuis is brilliant. She's funny. She's a terrific writer.
Tina does everything, and I just love her already.
Oh, time for a cigarette. Morning, Tina Dupuis.
Morning, Stephanie Miller.
Hello. By the way, we're not the only ones, that are, stalking you. You have nearly 10,000 followers on Twitter. We're almost there. You're about 200 people away. So follow at Tina Dupuis.
So close from getting my own K.
Yeah.
Follow her, do it.
TINADUPUY.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So we were saying, so much scary news. We've got Ebola. We've got killer clowns terrorizing Bakersfield. We have ISIS. But as you were saying,
if living in Bakersfield wasn't bad enough.
That's what I said. I'm like, already you're not terrorized? I think so. But you wrote a great piece this week. Where's the storm we were promised? And I had forgotten. I remember this ad now. Do you mind if I read it? You said,
please.
This is the ad. There's a storm gathering. The clouds are dark, and the winds are strong, and I am afraid. Okay, that's how it started. It was the widely mocked anti-gay marriage commercial for the National Organization for Marriage. That was in 2009, right?
Right.
Okay, we'll continue. But some who advocate same-sex marriage have not been content with same-sex couples living as they wish. Those advocates want to change the way I live. I will have no choice. The storm is coming. But we have hope, a rainbow coalition, huh? People of every creed and color are coming together in love to protect marriage. Wow! They tried to grab the rainbow. Right. I guess they don't know that's a gay thing.
I don't know what that means.
I guess they didn't realize that was already a gay thing. Yeah, but you were saying this is the kind of fear-mongering they were doing even that recently, right?
Correct. But so they told us what would happen. Basically, like this week, where now we have more than half of the majority of states are now allowing legal same-sex marriage.
Right.
We were told that this was going to be bad.
We were promised a storm, Tina Dupuis. We were promised one.
There was a storm, and we were afraid. There was going to be something horrible that was going to befall us.
Yes.
Because we weren't mean enough to gay people.
Right, and you said everyone was going to marry their...
Right. The perverts. Then it's all over. Yeah,
you said everyone was going to marry their cat, horse, dog, child, have sham gay weddings for benefits, and people that publicly denounced sodomy would be prosecuted. You said this is the foretold storm.
Dystopian.
Right.
Everywhere. So it was, we were going to have this horrible thing that was going to happen, which was, people were going to be less free. And that was their big claim. And it just never happened. It's like, okay, you want credibility on fear-mongering? Cool. I will listen to you if you'd been right about anything. So bring it. Where are these things that you all warned us about?
Well, you said...
I've seen are a very small group of people who are able to, and if we really want to boil it down, Stephanie, it's really, it's a much cheaper way of having a same-sex partnership. Because before these laws passed, gay couples were able to go to lawyers and spend thousands of dollars in order to get the kind of rights that straight people can get for $15 by an Elvis impersonator in a drive-through.
Right.
But now gays can get that too.
Situation 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and now.
You said, by the way...
In Nevada, we can do that.
Yeah, has anybody's freedom been taken away? When do I get invited to my first legal human schnauzer wedding? When do all our kids turn gay? And you say, when the history of gay marriage and oddball Republican opposition is written, nothing will be as bizarre and arbitrary as the first ever Mormon presidential candidate, Mitt Romney, saying, I agree with 3,000 years of recorded history. I believe marriage is a sacred institution between a man and a woman. When a mere 120 years ago, his faith openly practiced plural marriage, it is cringeworthy. And now, as Chris said, that's what Utah gets for starting this with us out here in California. Now there's gay marriage in Utah. Ha ha.
Right. Their 100-year tradition is now being ruined.
Yep.
Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah. Yeah, you say so a small fraction of tax-paying, law-abiding, sometimes military-serving Americans can have their country recognize their romantic partnerships. So what? What does this have anything to do with the rest of us? You've been duped. Yeah, I'm still waiting for John McCain to apologize for all the fear-mongering he did on gays in the military, right?
He should be contrite every day for Sarah Palin.
Yeah. Let's just focus on that first.
Right.
Let's get through that apology.
There's so many things that dude has done wrong. One of them, it's not just, the horrible things he said about his wife in public, but, come on, dude, really?
Right. And I'll listen to him on everything as long as he starts every sentence with that. I was wrong about that, Sarah Palin.
I'm so sorry.
Now I want to say
America.
Exactly.
Let me make it up to you.
Tina, great stuff as always, honey. We will talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, Stephanie. You're the best ever.
No, you're the best. Follow Tina. Follow her.
Yep.
At Tina Dupuis.
At Tina Dupuis.
All right. Yay. All right. So lots to get to. We got to get into this story because this could be the if we can get him through this televangelist, that'll be the cure for Ebola.
Yeah.
All right. We will do that next. 40 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-12. The phone number. We roll along on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Call.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 45 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Oh, hello, Travis Bone.
Hi. Wasn't expecting this one.
Well, I think we need your help with this because we're pausing briefly from all the good news about Ebola.
Yep.
Think Ebola, everybody. Okay, that's the CDC urges us to think.
Think Ebola, which is, I mean, for hospitals.
Right.
Obviously,
for hospitals, not just the rest of all y'all.
Obviously, the hospital in Texas wasn't thinking Ebola.
Right. Exactly.
So everybody needs to
protocols were breached.
Right.
Maybe the solution. I've got an idea. This is going to bring in the Republicans and solve all the problems in this world here. Have the faith healer take care of Ebola.
Please, exactly.
Maybe the faith healer.
The religious right believes in religion and not science.
So much. That's what the Republicans think.
Mm-hmm. That's why. Oh,
we should
the biodisaster hospital preparedness program was cut 50%. That was one of those cuts that
since 2003. Yeah.
As Charlie Pierce says later, the zombie-eyed Granny starter Paul Ryan was for.
Yes.
But didn't Bush increase funding to all of the faith organizations?
Yes. To help people like Ernest Angley.
Pray away the Ebola.
Angley.
Someone pray some Ebola away.
He was the televangelist that first hooked Chris on televangelist.
Yep.
And by the way, if I say please take your organ out, apparently wouldn't be the first time for him. Just saying. There's a new report on Ernest Angley.
Angley.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Seriously, is that the worst toupee you've ever seen?
Oh, he's always been known for his horrible toupee.
That is like just a hair helmet.
He's known for a lot of things.
Yeah.
His toupee is one of them.
Looks like those plastic things you buy at Halloween.
Yes, it does. Oh, dear. Ohio pastor forced vasectomies abortions because kids divert money away from the church, according to a new report. Yeah. Oh, dear. There's a few more details. This has a few layers to it. Everybody just stay with Mama here. Okay. Former members of the Grace Cathedral. Mm-hmm. That's where you could experience the grace of Ernest
Angley. Or on your TV.
Right. Oh, we were remembering that. Here's how Ebola's gone. He used to tell you if you just touch your TV, he can heal you.
If you put your hands up to your TV, he would heal you.
Really?
It wasn't just remember you do the thing in the middle of your forehead and go, oh!
Yeah. Oh, he can do that through the TV?
Right? What's that?
He can do that through the TV.
Through the TV.
Dude,
right.
He's
and then
magic.
Everyone looked like they were having the When Harry Met Sally orgasms.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I'll have what she's having?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's right. Anyone with Ebola, if you think you have Ebola now, even if you have a little, just put your hands...
Tune in, put your hands on the TV.
On the TV.
You know, there are probably 100 people in Texas right now who think they have Ebola who are walking with their TV and putting their hands on it.
Free speech
and they
TV.
think that
even me talking about it.
They're saved now.
Has the power. Okay. Former members of Grace Cathedral have accused televangelist Ernest Angley of forcing them to have abortions and vasectomies, and they said he sexually abused boys in the church, which he has denied.
This explains a lot about Chris.
The Akron Beacon Journal.
The Akron Beagle?
No, Beacon. Beacon. Journal said that...
I like Beagle better, actually.
No, it's the Beacon Journal. There's no Beagles involved. Said the church members had provided it with a recording of a recent church service where the 93-year-old televangelist, he's still at it.
Wow. He's that old. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Keelan's working on himself, apparently.
Uh-huh.
Keeping him going.
93-year-old televangelist Ernest Angley addressed accusations that he had inappropriately touched a former pastor.
Oh.
Wow. Yikes.
That's like
another man of the cloth that he's trying to get out of his cloth.
I feel like that's like a double whammy right there.
Yeah.
I love a man of the cloth. He said, I am not a homosexual. God wouldn't use a homosexual like he uses me. He calls me his prophet, and indeed I am, Angley explained. Mm-hmm. They called Jesus a homosexual. Did you know that? And still do, because he was with men.
I wonder what his safe word is.
As for the claim that Angley encouraged men in the church to have vasectomies, he said that he, quote, helped so many of the boys down through the years.
Oh, dear.
As sometimes men of the cloth are known to do. Uh-huh. They had their misgivings, if you recall. Sure, I'd have them uncover themselves, but I did not handle them at all.
What? Why is...
I guess a little pre-vasectomy check. Just a little check, like a little, okay.
Did he have to lay his hands on him to perform the vasectomy?
Well, let's see. There's some more details. Hang on. And I would tell them how that would work. Oh, he'd just explain how the vasectomy works, how that...
Okay.
A little snip here.
Snip. like a
turn your head and cough.
neck.
Yeah.
I wonder how many hernias he healed. Just Gently
cupping.
Yeah. Turn your head and cough.
You know, it's like cupping is that other thing that it's like a natural healing thing. Maybe this was a healing testicle cupping. Who knows? Okay.
I wonder how many hernias he cured.
Okay, I would tell them how that would work, and they'd have to watch it. I'd have some of them come back to me that I felt needed to, and I would tell them I would look at them. They're privates. So I could tell how they were swelling.
Oh, God, no.
A lot of testicular cancer got cured back then.
I was a farm boy. We thought nothing about undressing. We didn't know about homosexuals. We talked about women. Oh, I see. So while you were checking another dude's vasectomy swelling...
You were talking about women.
Of course, you're talking about chicks.
So it's not gay at all.
No. It's not gay if you're talking about women.
I felt the same way in college.
Becky Rodman, please and thank you. Who left the church last year and moved to Georgia, told the paper that none of us have kids because he makes all the men get fixed.
Wow.
You're not allowed to have babies there, she said. Ainsley also pushed women to have abortions, according to multiple former members. One of those who left, Angelia Osborne, said that Ainsley advised a friend to think of the fetus inside her as a tumor.
Oh, my God.
Greg Mulkey was a prominent member of the church. He said he doesn't want people to have kids because that would take their time and money away from the church. He really forced people into abortions through scare tactics, as if he were a medical doctor. Just a medical doctor that specializes mostly in in checking vasectomy swelling.
Wow.
In the second part of the series, the Beacon Journal talked to Shane McCabe, who said he was molested by Ainsley. I was sexually abused there, he said, recalling Ainsley basically blew me off when he confronted him about it years later.
At least I'm glad you finished that sentence, because it started out really, really rough.
Yes, right. Blew him off. He
was a child.
He asked if I had told anyone. I said no. He said, let's keep this secret. This is the way we need to handle it because God's mercy is great.
Oh.
The paper asked Ainsley why he counseled church members to keep quiet about abuse by him or others. He said they shouldn't talk about it, but they can do something about it, but they ought not to spread it abroad, because that hurts others.
Namely himself.
Right,
yeah.
Right. If it's somebody that, makes a habit of that, we get them out. We just let them know they have to go.
Push them out into the cornfield.
Right.
It sounds like it was a habit for him for a lot of years.
No, apparently it was not a habit. It was just a hobby. There's a difference. The hobby, it's fine. You're just doing a random vasectomy swelling check. So that's different than it being a habit, Travis.
So is wine your hobby?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to save that for happy hour later.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me delve into some other layers.
I want to ask John Fugelsang about that, too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What he thinks about people like that.
Yes. Just curious. I wonder if he'll have any thoughts.
John Fugelsang have feelings about something like that?
Yeah. Wow. All right. Yeah, that's how if we don't feel like working, we're like, John, do you have any thoughts on the Bible?
Just sit back,
wind him up, and watch him go.
It's like autopilot for the Stephanie Miller show.
Our nation of Tom Sawyer's fence painters.
We should just get a little inflatable version of John Fugelsang for us over here.
All right. Back in the real world, back in the science-based world, where you presumably cannot be cured of Ebola by touching your television.
Or your testicles, apparently.
Well. The director for the CDC said the government would change its response to Ebola after officials confirmed the Dallas healthcare worker had been infected with the virus. He said we have to rethink the way we address Ebola control, obviously.
Yes.
We
have Dr. Tom Frieden, CDC director.
The enemy here is a virus, Ebola. It's not a person, it's not a country, it's not a place, it's not a hospital. It's a virus.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually was responding to that. He was addressing he addressed comments that his protocol breach comments amounted to scapegoating the nurse for getting infected, and he said that was certainly not my intention.
Yeah.
He was saying, obviously, we have to look at how protocol is being breached.
And also that's how they talk in the medical field, but out here in the real world, we ascribe it to people. And so so that's how he thought that it was misunderstood.
Right.
And I can understand that.
Yeah. He said, I think what we recognize is that care is complex, and we're now working very closely with the hospital to make care simpler and easier with hands-on training, hands-on oversight, and monitoring. He said the CDC would work with hospitals throughout the country to think Ebola in anyone with a fever or other symptoms who has traveled to any of the 3 affected countries in the previous 21 days. And that's why I was talking about this panic on the plane. Can you imagine? This, I think what the story was, the woman was vomiting.
Yes, she was.
And they asked her, have you been to Africa? And she said yes. But it turns out it was South Africa, and it was like 10 years ago or something, and she was fine. She just had a rumbly-tumbly, as it turns out. He said we have not identified a specific problem that led to this infection. The one possibility he mentioned is that healthcare workers could contract Ebola after removing and handling protective gear still contaminated with the virus. And that's what I was saying about the, the hazmat suits.
Sure.
You have to take them off, obviously, at some point. I'm sure.
And you have to break the seal.
Right.
To take it off. That's,
and God bless those people, because I would not.
No.
That would make me look way too hippie, that hazmat suit, is all I'm saying. And God bless the people that do that. I'm just saying, when you're seeing
God
a lot
bless
of
all the hippie people.
We're just saying, I'm looking at a lot of the people on TV like that. First of all, it's a tough job. Anything that involves a hazmat suit,
and then
right?
you got to look like that.
Oh my God.
Really?
I'm sorry. I'm from L.A. Okay, Dr. Tom.
You're from Buffalo. You looked hippie your entire teenage years.
I had to wear, listen,
you wore snow pants.
I had to wear, what do you call those things?
Snow pants.
Right.
Yes.
You're not hippie looking those? I hated them. I used to rip them off on the way to the bus stop. They're not snow pants. They're something else. Okay, I'll think about it. But yeah, oh my God, that was like the worst in Buffalo when you had to wear the big, and then I had the furry hat with the balls under my chin. Think about it. Think what I looked like.
When was the last time you had balls under your chin?
Right. Okay, Dr. Friedman.
We have to rethink the way we address Ebola infection control.
Okay. Think Ebola.
Actually, it was not the last time. John in Minneapolis.
Oh, really?
John, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, John.
Yeah, I just was wondering if anyone had heard how many patients that nurse had to take care of if, she was assigned just to taking care of that one Ebola patient, or if she had other patients, because, of course, the more patients that somebody has, the more of a chance that you're, going to forget and not follow universal precautions. And
right.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's what they're investigating, obviously, now. But, yeah, thank you, honey. Dr. Frieden again yesterday.
We're concerned and would unfortunately not be surprised if we did see additional cases in the healthcare workers who also provided care to the index patient.
The patient that died, obviously, is what he's. You're right. There is medical speak.
There is the index patient.
I'm like, who?
Is that patient 0, patient 1?
Right. Patient 0. That's what they called him. The first, right? Well, because he's the first one, the first case, but he didn't get it here. She's the first one that got it
here.
Got it here. Here he is. One more
I want to clarify something I said yesterday. I spoke about a breach in protocol, and that's what we speak about in public health when we're talking about what needs to happen. And our focus is to say, would this protocol have prevented the infection? And we believe it would have. But some interpreted that as finding fault with the hospital or the healthcare worker. And I'm sorry if that was the impression given. That was certainly not my intention.
Yeah, so that's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, okay. and she shouldn't be faulted in the least.
Yeah. Or her King Charles Spaniel. So cute. Okay, 58 minutes after the hour. We're back with Charlie Pierce, Bob Seska, and much more as we roll along on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 6 minutes after the hour. Charlie Pierce of Esquire.com coming up at the bottom of the hour.
Right.
Bob Seska of the Daily Banter coming up next hour. It's a festive Tuesday show.
Yes, full of our favorite writers.
Exactly. All right, and Tina Dupuis.
Yeah.
We already was already here. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Okay. Where do we go from Ebola and killer clowns terrorizing Bakersfield?
Where do we go now?
Because everyone's freaking out about everything now, right? Every sneeze, every oh my God, I have Ebola.
Every eyeball lick.
Right. At least you do not have a 3-inch leech living inside your nose. Okay. What was it last week? Oh, the guy that had a live cricket in his ear.
Uh-huh.
And it crawled in there while I'm sleeping.
And when they pulled it out with tweezers, it tried to crawl back in.
Well, who wants to be evicted, right? Once you found a cozy place.
Right?
And we've done these previously, right, spiders? This is like your biggest fear.
Yeah.
That a spider will crawl in your ear. Which does not sound as bad, frankly, as a leech in your nose. A Scottish woman.
Oh.
thought her nosebleeds were caused by a motorbike accident. She was backpacking through Vietnam when the nosebleeds began, but she figured it was just a burst blood vessel from falling off a motorbike.
Okay.
It's like it's a Halloween-themed month.
Yeah.
Okay. Eventually the nosebleeds stopped, but the leech remained. She initially thought the leech was congealed blood.
Oh, God! No. Oh, God.
At what point do you go, maybe I should check with a doctor what's happening?
Well, if you're in Vietnam, the healthcare might not be the same level that it is in Scotland.
Right. Eventually figured out that there was a blood-sucking worm camping out in her face.
Inside her face.
Right. When I was in the shower, he would come right out as far as my bottom lip, and I could see him sticking out the bottom of my nose. Oh, my God.
Oh, my.
So when that happened last Thursday, I jumped out of the shower to look really closely in the mirror, and I saw ridges on him. That's when I realized he was an animal. That's a thing. I went, she said her doctors, good, she did finally think, perhaps I could use medical help of some kind.
Yeah.
Her doctor said the 3-inch leech, which lived in her nose for at least a month, which might be really happy with the cricket that was living in that guy's nose. Maybe they could find some other orifice somewhere else and live together.
Oh, you don't want to know what other orifices are available.
Okay. Anyway, the doctor said that the leech, which had lived in her nose for a month, would eventually have wormed its way through her brain. A leech expert. Oh, there are such things?
I guess so. Shall I book one?
Yes, please. Gave an equally horrifying interview. He said Daniela could have picked up this leech from the water in Vietnam if she'd been swimming, or it could have gone in through her mouth as she was drinking water. Okay, don't you feel better? That no matter how badly your life is going, you do not have a 3-inch leech
in your face.
Your nose that keeps popping out after. Why during a shower? What's going on out there?
Hey!
It's
looking for health care.
What was it about the shower that made him pop out of her nose to go, hey, what's going on? Oh, probably because it's equally warm and steamy outside, so he didn't have to just stay in the nose. He was like, hey.
Or he was looking to be peed on.
Maybe there's a better house.
Wouldn't have gone down the drain?
I don't know. Who can say what was in the leech's mind that was in her nose?
Do leeches have minds?
I don't know. Alan in South Dakota, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Alan.
Yeah, hi, Stephanie. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. Just kind of befuddled here listening to this discussion about Ebola, and first I'd like to congratulate you on getting your medical degree, and two, since you know...
Oh, that's funny.
Why are you being an ass, Alan?
Well, no,
No, you're being an ass.
You have all the answers, Steph, instead of being...
I do? Or am I just reporting what is being reported thus far?
Why don't you go to these major medical meccas and cut them in on the real dope on how to stop this epidemic,
We are reading facts that come from these major medical meccas, dude.
Oh, yeah, you tell me about it. This thing is going to balloon. And you sit and...
Well, so what did I say that was incorrect? We've been playing...
Yes, correct us. Oh, Mr. Medical...
by the way, where did you get your medical degree?
Yeah, correct us, Doctor, please.
Yeah.
Whatever, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Michael. Bye-bye. Touche. Well, just saying, Leon Panetta selling books. Who knows? Robert in Albuquerque, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hey, Robert. Hello, Robert. Robert, I can hear you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hello. Okay, Diane in Arkansas, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Diane.
Hi, guys. You make my day.
Thank you.
Because you put some humor into all of this.
Right.
But I have 2 points to make. Number one, if you're listening to the troops that have been in the Middle East and all these wars, for the most part, they're saying don't go in.
Yeah.
For the second part is nobody's got any skin in this game. We don't have a draft. We have cutbacks in the rest of our government, and nobody's paying for these wars. If we're going to do this again, we need to have a special tax that everybody pays for these wars.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I think that's what we're used to. 2 wars, off the books, no draft. All right. 17 minutes after the hour, we roll along on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Like being stung by a bee, or getting a splinter, or being chained to a wall in someone's sex dungeon.
It's the Stephanie Miller Show.
The Norman Goldman Show.
An Ohio law that says you cannot lie in a political campaign, that has been thrown out. Rodrigo P. sent me an email saying, well, Norm, now that the courts are saying it's okay to lie, does that mean that all of the perjury laws have been kicked out? What a great question, Rodrigo, and I did write back to you, so I thank you for the question, and the answer is no.
Norman Goldman, weeknights at 5 p.m., right here on Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Hey, Chicago, Stephanie Miller here. I want you to celebrate LGBT History Month by attending the upcoming dedication of Chicago's Legacy Walk on North Halsted Street. At 3 p.m. on Saturday, October 11th, the award-winning Legacy Walk Outdoor LGBT History Museum will unveil 7 new plaques commemorating the lives of composer Cole Porter, astronaut Sally Ride, Olympian Babe Didrikson, Father Michael Judge, Ugandan activist David Cato, poet Audre Lorde, and the Stonewall Riot. This inspiring free ceremony will begin at the corner of Buckingham and Halsted at 3 p.m. with Cole Porter and proceed north to Halsted and Waveland. The ceremony will be followed by a rooftop party at the center on Halsted to benefit the Legacy Project Education Initiative, which combats anti-gay bullying by celebrating LGBT contributions to history. The celebration continues October 18th at Chicago's Sidetrack Entertainment Complex. The spotlight will be on 3 amazing years of LGBT history on Halsted. For more info and tickets, call 312-608-1198 or visit legacyprojectchicago.org. LGBT rights are human rights. Visit legacyprojectchicago.org to learn more.
Do you want freedom from glasses and contacts? Hauser Ross Eye Institute is proud to announce the addition of their blade-free Wavelight Refractive Suite, the most advanced technology in LASIK surgery. Wavelight blade-free LASIK technology can treat most corrections in approximately 20 seconds or less and is the fastest LASIK system approved by the FDA. Treatment is customized to your individual correction and corneal curvature. Blade-free, advanced custom LASIK featuring the Wavelight laser system is ideal for most LASIK patients and has shorter treatment times and the widest treatment ranges of any FDA-approved LASIK laser system. Hauser Ross Eye Institute, the leader in blade-free LASIK technology in northern and north-central Illinois. Expanded services, more specialists, same caring experience. To schedule your free consultation with our refractive coordinator, please call Hauser Ross Eye Institute at 1-800-CHECK-UP today. Visit them online at hauserross.com or like them on Facebook. Hauser Ross Eye Institute. It's time to see what you have been missing. And now, a message from the Illinois AFL-CIO and Chicago Federation of Labor. With the election just around the corner, the time to cast your vote is now. So much is at stake for Illinois families. Things like raising the minimum wage, protecting the rights of workers, and investing in all of our local schools. Not voting in this election is a vote against Illinois' working families. This year, voting couldn't be more accessible. Worried about a busy schedule? Request your ballot by mail or cast your vote at a nearby early vote location beginning October 20th. Even if you haven't registered, you can still vote in this year's election by going to one of the many on-site registration locations. Make your voice heard and do it now. For information on vote by mail, early voting, and so much more, visit chicagolabor.org/vote. This message proudly sponsored by the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters. CarpentersUnion.org.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in Illinois is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, it just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the Illinois High School Association and the Illinois Athletic Directors Association.
He's Wayne Benson, and he's got issues.
And this is Dick Hay, and he's back on the beat.
And that's Mike Novak, and he's
got his own show called The Mike Novak Show.
How'd you come up with that one?
Cut that out. And we're all on weekends here on WCPT.
Chicago's Progressive Talk.
AM and FM.
I like that.
Stephanie Miller.
You got blood on your face, a big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. We will rock you. Sing it.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. This hour of the Stephanie Miller Show brought to you by Citrix GoToMeeting, the proven solution for meeting and collaborating online. If you sign up for GoToMeeting before October 10th, you'll get another Citrix product free for 6 months. Visit GoToMeeting.com and get started. Okay, 22 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Sexy liberal Carlos Alzaraki on his way in for Coffee with Carlos. Tom in Albuquerque, there you are. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Steph. Hi, Chris. How are you all?
Hello. Hi.
You know, this whole thing about having failure to arm the Free Syrian Army.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit GetCoveredAmerica.org to learn about your health insurance options. That's GetCoveredAmerica.org.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
Stephanie Miller.
Yeah, it is the Stephanie Miller Show this hour, brought to you by Citrix GoToMeeting, the proven solution for meeting and collaborating with your team online from anywhere. Visit GoToMeeting.com. Click on the Try Free button for your free 30-day trial. All right, 23 minutes after the hour, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. Hey, that's ironic, isn't it? So the right-wing asshat called in to accuse me of pretending to be a medical doctor or something.
Whatever.
Yep. So he swore, and we had to use the dump button.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that made our whole system go kablooey.
Kablooey.
And so the actual head of the Nurses Association, who we Googled and is the head of the Nurses Association,
wasn't on the air.
Who gave all this great information, that wasn't on the air.
However, we will pull that off, and we can replay it later on in the show, because it was great information.
Right. So ironically... Thank you, right-wing asshat.
Yeah.
All right. Everything's fine now?
Yep, we're back on the air.
Okay. Wendy in Seattle, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
Good morning, Chris.
Hello.
And Travis. I'm just calling to say one of the many things I've done in between doing music and entertaining for years is I worked in construction for quite a while off and on, and one of the last jobs I worked was as an asbestos abatement worker.
Oh, wow.
Just calling to say, the thing of it is, it's breaking my heart to see these things about Ebola. I read The Hot Zone many years ago that you were talking about earlier. Right. I had to take 40 hours just to learn how to put on a basic suit to be a grunt worker with asbestos, okay?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And work 16 to 1,800 hours, and then I had to go to another 40 hours of classes, in a row to get my supervisor card for asbestos. And the point I'm making with all of that is that asbestos is nothing, obviously, compared to Ebola. The most important thing is de-suiting, and I have a hard time believing that any hospital is set up that you're supposed to have two people watching as they suit up and as they de-suit is the most critical, and spraying down with total bleach water. Just nothing can be touched. The de-suiting part is just so critical. It's critical with asbestos. I can't even imagine what it's like. Well, yes, I can imagine what it's like with Ebola.
Is that the same kind of suit? Is that a hazmat suit you wear for asbestos?
Well, they really vary depending on the kind of job you're doing. When I did some lead abatement work and whatnot, and then you're in more of a plastic and more of a chemical respirator thing. Generally, those are worse suits in Ebola.
Yeah.
Those are thick plastic. And I went through the change, Stephanie, when I was doing asbestos abatement, and you'd never tell on it. I mean, having a hot flash respirator on and a suit on, it's so... Hey, girl.
Yikes.
You're doing great.
You're like, oh, my God, okay, never mind. It's a hot flash. Wendy, that's, this is going to be a dumb layperson question, but that is my question is how, obviously you have the suit on because, I assume contamination is on the outside of the suit, presumably, right? So how do you de-suit without safely?
Okay, the way you have to de-suit in asbestos anyway, and especially if you're working in a contained area where it's flying everywhere and then you have air from the outside coming in, you get into a shower. It's got to be totally liquid, and you have to keep your respirator on. First of all, you take the suit off when you're in containment.
Mm-hmm.
You get in the shower with the respirator mask still on, and you've got like spandex shorts on and a jogging bra on or whatever, underneath your suit.
Wow.
You get in the shower, and you keep your respirator on the whole time you're in the shower, and totally soaked and everything, and then you get out of all those underclothes.
Yeah.
See, now we realize that most of our knowledge is based on movies. Now I'm thinking, oh, it's like Silkwood. Okay. Is it more like Silkwood or Outbreak? Yeah.
Well, and I can't imagine that every hospital around the country has this kind of facility in order to do that.
But that's what's been going through my mind. You know, it's a really, just for asbestos, it's a really complex thing. And for Ebola, it's got to be that times 10.
Well, and this head of the California Nurses Association that just called, Wendy was saying that she feels like it's more training, that they don't have adequate training. You just said how many hours? You had 40 hours?
Yeah, I did 40 just to be a basic asbestos worker, and then 16 to 1,800 doing that. Then another 40 to be an asbestos supervisor. Then I would supervise crews. But these containments you build and everything for that, good gosh.
God bless you. Yeah. God bless you people that do work like that. Can I just say I went whitewater rafting, and that was too much trouble. It was too much stuff to put on. You know what I'm saying? I put a baseball hat and I'm good to go every day.
Yeah, you look great. But it was good money, and I enjoyed doing it. I worked with a lot of really good people. But God bless these people that do this Ebola.
Exactly.
I don't know how they could be in those suits. I've heard that 2 hours is max, and 2 hours in a rubber suit like that, and the way you are getting dehydrated and you can't drink any liquid when you're in there.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, Wendy, thanks for the info. Appreciate it.
Oh, you bet, and thanks for you guys doing what you do. You make my day every day.
Aw, thank you. Well, thank God we can dress quickly for these kind of hours.
Yeah, we're not working with Ebola. I can't
believe I just compared whitewater rafting to doing Ebola work. I didn't mean to. I just meant, it's a lot of stuff. Whatever. Bathing suit, spandex, got another rubber suit. I don't know. It's like a whatever.
It's not the same.
No. I was just recreating. Just saying it's a lot. It's a pain in the ass. Okay, 29.
So is having Ebola.
29 minutes after the hour. I have very shallow life experience. 29 minutes after the hour. Charlie Pierce next on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Tuesday, you know what that means. You know why that's fun. There's only one man now that understands. And that's the author of Idiot America. Pierce. Charlie Pierce, political columnist for Esquire.com.
Why is everybody always laughing with me?
Good morning, Charlie Pierce.
Hey, I like the beginning of the show today. It was like listening to drunk Oprah. You get some vodka, and you get some vodka, and you get some vodka.
It is the drunk Oprah section of the show. It's like the third hour of the Today Show, the drunk section.
By the way, Chris, I know that concoction has a bloody brain.
Yeah, see, in
Grenadine.
In college I think I was given a brain shot for my birthday, and that's what we called it, a brain.
Yeah, this was what we celebrated the demise of the short-lived all-sports newspaper, The National, with at our breakup party.
Aww.
The late Van McKenzie knew how to make them. Yes.
Yes, and it's a very unexpected.
Gelatinous.
Yeah.
Yes, disgusting.
Yeah, it turns into Jello when you least expect it.
Yeah, it does. It's really gross.
Much like Joe Lieberman used to.
Hey.
Now, Charlie.
I like to give listeners who may only be tuning in for my segment a little recap of what's gone on before.
Thank you.
Yes,
Someone will be serving a bloody Ebola eyeball at a bar somewhere this weekend.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is the shot that's made of vodka, Bailey's, and a little bit of grenadine.
Yeah, and it's the Bailey's that turns into this weird salad thing.
Yeah, it's like a gelatinous goo.
All right. Charlie.
Speaking of gelatinous goo.
Yes. I love your Here's Some Stupid for Lunch section, as I always do. Dr. Francis Collins, head of the National Institute of Health, you say has had enough of the bull. Thank you very much. Mentioned yesterday, frankly, if we've not gone through our 10-year slide in research support, we probably would have had a vaccine in time for this that would have gone through clinical trials and would have been ready. As we were saying, it's just weird how, funding science has some weird effect when things like this happen.
I was going to say, if you don't pay for something, you likely will not get it.
It's new. Here's my favorite line of yours in recent weeks, I have to say. Over in the corner, Paul Ryan stares a hole in his daily bowl of cream of stupid soup, his zombie eyes fixed and unblinking. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, is they won't never admit any of this, will they?
No, and it's remarkable because the reaction was to throw up a lot of smoke about other stuff the CDC does.
Right.
You know, and Eric Erickson, one of my least favorite human beings, you know, is talking about, we spent a lot of money studying on why lesbians are fat. First of all, I don't even know how much they spent. Second of all,
yeah, he did bring that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one yesterday.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
And of course, there are other CDC programs that you can make fun of.
Right.
It sounds silly the way Bobby Jindal once made fun of volcano monsters.
Right. Because when would that ever happen?
The volcano went off.
Except right behind me while I'm speaking. Yes. Right.
Oh, I also got a big kick out of those people the people in Louisiana who won't accept the ashes of the Ebola clothes.
Yes.
Like Louisiana has this pristine air and water that we have to protect.
Right.
By the way, let's skip to the gobshites because on the same.
I'm not talking about nose leeches anymore because that was really disgusting.
Yeah, that was.
That was really disgusting.
Yeah,
it really was.
Were you around for our Killer Clowns segment?
Yes, I like.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I try to stay away from that because killer clowns scare me.
Okay.
Right.
Which is why American Horror Story is like reading my mind these days.
Uh-huh.
First they had Crazy Psychotic Nun,
Yep.
and then they have Killer Clowns.
Yeah.
Since the news is just a solid wall of terror these days, we're just going to throw in killer clowns and nose leeches along with Ebola and ISIS.
It wouldn't be so bad if American Horror Story wasn't so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. It's such great television.
Now, Charlie, on another subject, I loved you included Candy Crowley's extravaganza because it provided us with the latest episode in the ongoing miniseries. It's time for John McCain to go to the dog track with his name pinned to his jacket. You say perhaps to distract attention from the fact that if he'd had his way, we would have had an illiterate saloon brawler representing us at state funerals. McCain sought to cement his burgeoning reputation as a very silly person. We already played this soundbite, of course, him demanding, Charlie Ney demanding an Ebola czar.
You're exactly right, having said that they already had more czars than the Romanovs or something.
Right. Yeah.
By the way,
he said that, last year or something?
Whoever tweets for him, because that is actually pretty funny. But
yeah.
I love
now we need an Ebola czar because I don't know what. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't the Surgeon General serve as an
having
Yes.
a Surgeon General would be enormously helpful in this situation, but we don't have one.
Because, among other things, as you mentioned, John McCain is terrified of the NRA. That's why we don't have
That's why we don't have a Surgeon General.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. You said by now you think John McCain would know how to run more gracefully against John McCain. You would think he would.
Yeah, John McCain is a tough opponent for John McCain to run against, and always has been.
By the way, can I tell you why I love your line? First, Ebola being the latest thing in which he knows less than. Because I had a drama professor at USC, John Blankenship, who always used to say to every student, "You don't know about theater. Let me tell you."
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. You don't know. Great line.
Oh,
okay. So then you said, moving into familiar territory on which he knows less than, John McCain would like to launch another ground war in Western Asia. Not that he wants to send in battalions or anything. Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's been wrong about every single thing, and I don't know why they keep pretending I couldn't even get through this whole mishmash of what he said. Right?
I mean,
arm the Peshmerga and
we're going to arm the Peshmerga, and we're going to send in just enough special forces so that we accomplish the mission, whatever the hell the mission is, but not so many as that we support Assad, who was like last month's Hitler.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And apparently only he knows the exact amount to do all that and how it will come out perfectly if he were in charge.
It's von Clausewitz translated through Goldilocks.
Yeah.
That's what is just right.
Exactly. Now, I did not get to meet the press this week. What was your take on your man Chuck Todd this week?
I think he actually did pretty well. He was talking about in very vague terms always, because we don't call each other out, because then we might not be invited to dinner again. That there were people in the media who were fanning the flames of unreasoning fear against Ebola, and then of course he threw it to Tom Brokaw, and the whole segment immediately got bogged down.
Right.
Because Brokaw made this should be a unifying event. Well, gee, Tom, tell us why it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, please tell us the people who are keeping it from being a unifying event. I mean, you are, after all, the man who invented World War II.
Oh.
That was a Hitler analogy almost. Okay, now Charlie. Then he had a what do you call it? CBS Leon Panetta, who I mean, Rachel did a great thing last night. I don't know if you saw it, but I mean, it just is amazing how it is so transparent that he's selling a book. He's saying exactly the opposite of what he said when he was in the administration about Syria.
Of course he is, and he's selling a book, and he's also trying to snuggle up to the next administration, which is, I mean. There's a little. I mean, one of the problems the Clinton campaign, such as it is right now, has is they really do want to distance themselves from the guy who beat her in 2008.
Right.
But they don't want to go so far as to look really, kind of uncivil and backstabberish.
Right.
So that's the line that Panetta's trying to walk right now too. Although he did in fact stab Clinton in the back at one point during the Monica stuff.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
He can't be trusted. Why does anybody hire him?
I don't know. You get into the national security hiring hall, and you never lose your job. It's like those those rubber rooms they had for teachers in New York because they couldn't fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Brent Scowcroft and Lawrence Eagleberger and Leon Panetta are all sitting around this big clubhouse waiting for someone to give them a job.
Right.
This is why I said, why couldn't I be the next Surgeon General? Why not? I've alerted to people to nose leeches this morning. I was ahead of myself in peeing in the shower in terms of conserving water. I don't think
that has anything to do with.
Listen, it's all part of the public consciousness.
In fact,
anyway,
you can spread Ebola by peeing on someone in the shower.
I don't think so. Charlie, Peggy Noonan and her...
That's the Ebola dog. Do you see that? The front page of the New York Post today?
Yeah.
Talking about Ebola dog.
Ebola dog is saved.
Ebola dog is saved.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that, by the way.
Me too. So Peggy Noonan and her Chardonnay Canaries were over at ABC, were they?
Yes. Well, actually, she was on. I don't know how she did. She was on Face the Nation and on This Week.
Oh, I think she must have been flown by the Chardonnay Canaries.
Yeah, this is the one. This is
like a
Disney new argument that what Leon Panetta is really doing is writing a partisan Democratic tract in which he's ripping apart a Democratic president because Peggy sees the subtle, political Machiavellian maneuvering underneath the fact that Panetta's calling the president like a weak leader.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to get the Democrats to, he's trying to distance the entire party from the current president. So Hillary, I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
This is, you wander through the landscape of that mine, your feet get stuck in like old Chardonnay and bong water.
Charlie, let's talk about the midterms. There's one line that popped out at me, and I thought the exact same thing. You said, I don't think it's entirely out of line to believe a lot of people in my business need the Senate to change hands in November to vindicate how smart they were in February.
Yeah.
And primarily, it's covering up the craziness of some of these Republican candidates and making it seem like, part of the whole both sides do it debate, right?
Well, not only that, if you take that tack, you're missing out on a great election because there's a lot of weird stuff going on out there.
Right.
I mean, there's no way that South Dakota and Kansas should be competitive, but they are.
Right.
They may take the Senate, they may not, but the New York Times has a piece in their little upshot section there. Their data-driven feature that they do today that says Republican hopes and something like Republican hopes in Senate soar or something like that. And then you read the piece and it's all about, this person's up 1 point and this person's up 3 points and we can't really trust the polls in Alaska because nobody knows how to poll up there. And, so it's all if and maybe at this point. It's still if and maybe.
Right. And I mean, you tell me when the Senate minority leader has been in this close a race for this long in a state like Kentucky, and that's not a huge story?
Well, I mean, I can go back to Tom Daschle, who actually got beat.
Yeah.
But I think it's a terrific. I think that's a terrific story. I think the two independents is a great story. I think the fact that Kay Hagan is hung on is a great story.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a state, turning against its newly insane legislature.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be interesting, but I think you're right. It's like, boy, once they have some, the Beltway wisdom, right, that, absolutely, it's going to be disaster for the Democrats.
It all comes down to Democrats showing up.
Yep.
If they show up in Wisconsin, Scott Walker is derailed forever.
Yeah.
If they show up in Iowa, we don't have to worry about, Agenda 21 and, castrating pigs being the way you get elected.
Yeah, crazy Joni Ernst, who, as you were saying, they're complicit in covering up her craziness, right?
Well, I mean, the way you do it is you mention what her crazy positions were, and then you mention that she's sort of moved away from them, and then you give her credit for being shrewd.
Right.
Instead of pointing out that she really doesn't know what she thinks about anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as you were saying, just because they don't reach the level of Christine O'Donnell crazy doesn't mean they aren't their own
she's
little...
close, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, she's very close.
Yeah.
I mean, you start reading that Agenda 21 stuff, and she's very worried about our golfs.
Oh, boy. Maybe perhaps she is
the theft of our golfs by the United Nations.
Perhaps she is a witch. Maybe that would be the final irony, wouldn't it?
You know, and I do not believe Scott Brown is a genuine threat. I mean, he's being thrown into the bag now too. But I think
he has the frat boy vote, right?
Well, yeah, you saw that wonderful video there. Running that sort of nonsense really worked well the last time.
Yeah, exactly.
Learn.
Exactly.
I mean, the guy has a very compelling personal narrative, and he's had a reputation of being a nice guy. And it's like he's decided he can't win with that.
Yeah.
And this campaign was just stupid anyway. I don't think
it was the carpetbaggeriest of the carpetbaggers, I thought.
Yeah, but I was going to say, you're going to tell me he wasn't prepared for that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the obvious line of attack. Anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's a fascinating midterm election, and I won't be surprised if they take over the Senate. I won't be surprised if they don't. I mean, my own personal favorite for chaos is that the whole thing comes down to a runoff in Louisiana, because then the rat copulating will be unbelievable.
Yeah, the Landrieu race.
Yeah, well, Landrieu and Cassidy, but just imagine a runoff for control of the Senate in Louisiana.
Oh my God!
Oy.
And you won't be able to find a plain brown envelope in any stationery store for like a year.
All right, Charlie, great stuff. Talk to you next week, my friend.
I hope so. Bye.
Yes, I hope so, too. Yes. All right, 48 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 52 minutes after the hour. Bob Seska of the Daily Banter coming up next hour. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number. Steve in Missouri, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Steve.
Hey, good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
Hey, I love you guys.
I
tell you, I'm back here in the hills, Missouri, and I'm in the Tea Party capital, I think, of the United States.
Aww.
It's terrible down here. But at any rate, here's my point. Morning to you too, Chris.
How bad can any state be that gave us Kathleen Madigan? Not so bad.
Well, but I've got Billy Long for a congressman, and I tell you, it's sickening down here. But here's my point I wanted to make this morning. Mm-hmm. I'm an old retired union guy. I've been a Democrat. My father made me a Democrat before I was ever 18, and I've never voted for a Republican except one. The biggest mistake of my life. I voted for Richard Nixon many years ago.
Oh, well, yeah.
You had to make an exception. That was not the one. But, okay, go ahead.
Oh, God, I know. I'm sick about that one. But at any rate, here's my point. We sit here and we talk, we don't have the medical funding that's been cut over a decade or more of cut. We don't have the position filled for our head medical examiner or whatever.
Surgeon General, right.
Yeah. And there's only one person out there who's really calling it like it is, and that's Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, we played him yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, why are the other... I almost felt like in this Kentucky race, when they asked if she voted for Barack Obama and she didn't come back, it's kind of like you and the little button you push for the crickets, because that's kind of how the Democrats are. And exactly, when this comes up, it's quiet as a mouse. And I wonder, are they afraid because they're just as guilty? I mean, I don't think they are, sweetheart, because I mean, God, I'm a Democrat. I love the Democratic Party, but I think I'm going to become an independent, because it seems to be the only people who will stand up, talk against the Republicans, and go after them.
Well, don't do that, because then we won't have any power. I mean, I do think, we need to, you're absolutely right, we need to draw a clearer line, because there is one. As, Charlie Pierce and others have just, sort of indicated, there is one party that has stood against science, that has stood against funding for these things. There is a cause and effect here. You're absolutely right. It's like the directors of the National Health Institute and others have said we would have an Ebola vaccine by now if you hadn't cut. This is why they act like the sequester was no big deal. This is why it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You know, well, thank you. I'm so happy to be in your corner on this, Steph. You and I agree on this.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
I mean, we agree on 95% of the things, but I love that
Well, the other 5% is what gives us our crackling sexual tension. All right, Steve.
Sweetheart, I love you guys.
I love you too. All right, bye.
Thanks for calling, Steve.
Yes.
He was awesome.
Aw,
yeah.
I am his sweetheart. Okay. By the way, I was reading the Charlie Pierce piece on John McCain, and it really is. He really does. He makes no sense on any subject. I was trying to. This is what he was talking about. He was moving into ISIS.
Right.
Again, on which he knows less than he knows about Ebola, which he was also demanding a czar, right? Which he was one of the loudest voices against czars, and now he's right. Okay. So he said you have to arm the Peshmerga, who are using old weapons that are Russian vintage, against ISIS, who's using ours. So Charlie Pierce points out, and wouldn't it be nice if just one of these Sunday show moderators would point out stuff like this that Charlie does? How did ISIL get all of our weapons? They picked them up off the ground. They were on the ground because of the last ground war from which John McCain shook his pom-poms. Yeah. Thank you. That's how they got our weapons.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the aspersion is, it must be Obama's fault. It's like, no, they have our weapons because you cheerled to go into Iraq in the first place.
And left a power vacuum.
Yes. All right. General Ray Odierno, Army Chief of Staff.
I will say we were a bit surprised by their capability, and there's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
Meaning
ISIS.
The general again. Yes.
I believe the capability is there to defend Baghdad, and so I think we're somewhat confident in that, but we'll have to wait and see what plays out over the coming days.
As of this morning, Baghdad is somewhat surrounded by ISIS.
Yes. Oh, by the way, yesterday we talked about
fended off
Turkey.
Yeah. By the way, they fended off an attack on Baghdad's airport yesterday. So the Baghdad airport is still under Iraqi control, not ISIS control.
Right. So we mentioned this yesterday that Turkey. Right. Turkey. Yes. Denied any deal with the U.S. You had said yesterday they had agreed to, letting the U.S. use its bases. That's what, Susan Rice said on Meet the Press, and so now they've denied that, that they're even helping that much. All right, 58 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. Yeah, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. Bob Seska coming up this hour. His headline, the unforgivable hysteria of the news media's Ebola coverage. And right on cue, when you just said Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, just
announced a $25 million gift to the CDC to help fight Ebola.
Travis said Facebook spreads Ebola, obviously. No. He's obviously, it's guilt money.
$25?
Thank you. That ought to help. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Pat in Indiana. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Pat.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead.
Well, I was just calling because, Rick Perry's going to run for president probably, and he's running that state like a third world country, and I think the Democrats ought to, start working on that for why the red states are bad. Voting in Republicans and making red states redder is making the whole country more dangerous as far as, any kind of diseases or anything.
Well, Pat, it's not just that, but, we think back to this fertilizer plant exploding. Like, that should be just a normal thing, and not something that should be, I don't know, what's the word, regulated a tiny bit?
Well, yeah, I mean, there is going to be no planet for us to live on if people don't get their heads out of their, hoo-hoos.
Right.
So, but the thing down there with Perry, I mean, he's been running that country or that state for 14 years, and he is just. I'd like to really have somebody go investigate that's impartial and find out why that nurse turned that guy away, because I'm sure it had to do with his color, the fact that he was an alien, and he had no insurance.
Well, that's what the family's claiming, and and obviously the hospital's denying it. But anyway, thank you, sweetie. By the way, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the NIH director, yesterday.
We've got to really be careful that word breach doesn't imply that the nurses did something wrong. I mean, they are amazingly courageous to do what they're doing. So a breach in protocol may be that the protocol's fine. They were not trained properly.
Right, which, by the way, so the head of National Nurses United, Kathy Romer,
We have been asking our hospitals throughout the country to provide us with training.
And just because we are magic, Deborah Berger, who is the head of the California Nurses Association, called us earlier. We had a right-wing asshat that accused me of pretending to be a medical doctor. That dropped an S-bomb, and we had to dump out, and then it dumped us off the air entirely.
Well, it dumped us off the air for radio. They still saw it on Free Speech TV.
However, we got some really good information. And so we want to replay it for you now. Deborah, in Oakland, you're president of the California Nurses Association?
I am.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank you for calling in.
I'm also president of National Nurses United.
Oh, awesome.
I just think that it's really a shame that the CDC is getting the blame for lack of preparedness when, in reality, we have what we call a healthcare system, but what happens is all of our employers all over the country get to actually choose what guidelines they implement for providing personal protection equipment for all healthcare workers and for all medical providers. And our survey, if you go to our website, clearly indicates that our employers are not prepared for taking care of Ebola. And we have been asking for training for over 2 months now.
Wow.
And have not been able to get the training we need to provide care safely.
Deborah, is that your suspicion? What happened in the Dallas hospital, that they perhaps don't have the training? That's how the protocol breach could happen?
Or is that like a typical hospital in America?
What we've been finding with nurses across the country that have responded to our survey is they're handed a sheet of paper or they're told to watch a video on how to take off and put on these personal protection equipment, and then expected to go ahead and provide care for a patient. And you all know that we actually need hands-on training. We have drills for codes. We have drills for disasters like tornadoes and earthquakes.
That's right.
Yet they're not actually providing the equipment and training we need. So it's a real concern to us. And so we're demanding that our employers in the hospital system provide not only proper protocols and training materials, but the ability for nurses to interact and ask questions.
Right. So what do you think that this is going to be addressed now that this Dallas case has happened, or what's your feeling?
Well, what my concern is that we have such a fragmented healthcare system in the United States. They're all privately run, so it's essentially an on-your-own, wild, wild west kind of implementation of these protocols, right? And so until we actually get the ability for the CDC to mandate these guidelines, because that's what they are. They're guidelines. They're suggestions.
Right.
So
yeah, and I mean, clearly the Dallas case shows that we got to do more, right?
Right. So until we have mandates, we're really going to be setting ourselves up for failure. And then who's hung out to dry is the CDC when they're saying this is what you need to follow, and everybody else goes, oh, okay, and kind of puts them in a drawer and doesn't even look at them.
Right. Deborah, thanks so much. We're sorry, up against a break here, but thank you so much. Good info. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Yay. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, boy, and they best start listening to people like the Nurses Association, because I was, thinking.
They're on the front lines.
I mean, they are professionals, and they are, but they're human. And you're going to have nurses start to say, we're not going to treat Ebola patients if you're not going to give us the proper training and equipment. I mean, what she was saying, that's kind of horrifying to watch a video.
Yeah.
for something that important and life-threatening in terms of how to, all of this stuff, right? The suits and how to take them on and off and all of that. The president consulting with top administration officials to get the latest development on the government's response to Ebola in the aftermath of this Dallas case. White House says the president also wants an update on steps underway to ensure the national health system is prepared to deal with the disease. And once again, couple suggestions, and Surgeon General would be nice if they stopped pooing their pants over the NRA and got that done. And also the money for the science behind it. That'd be good.
Yeah. Apparently, Steve Ducey on Fox and Friends this morning said it is kind of weird that we don't have a Surgeon General.
It is weird, isn't it, Steve? What could that be? Who got hit in the head with a Fox graphic?
Yeah, he conveniently forgot the whole NRA part of it.
By the way, Charlie Pierce is mentioning this, but it is so infuriating the way that the mainstream media, particularly when he talks about the Sunday shows, handle this stuff. So he's talking about Tom Brokaw was on.
Right.
And he said, he's talking about Ebola. So this is a national unifying issue that ought not to be a partisan issue. This is something that affects everybody here, and we need to deal with it now. So, as Charlie writes, Jesus Mary, who is standing in the way of this national unifying issue? There's only one side of our political spectrum that's doing it. There's one political party whose candidates are throwing out the old roogie-woogie, linking a virus with terrorists and with undocumented migrant workers. This is a quote-unquote partisan issue because there's one party thumping the tub on it. This doesn't just happen, Tom. It's made to happen on every issue over and over again.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, but this becomes like why aren't we unifying? Kemosabe? And also, then he talked about them. I didn't get to this line in Charlie's piece when they had Leon Panetta on, who's clearly trying to sell books. Leon Pimento. And who likes pimentos? Nobody. Or Panettas at this point.
Well, yeah.
But just talking about like how, of course, he's saying the exact opposite, that he advised the president on Syria when he was in the administration. And Charlie writes, I, for one, am just as glad that the president has eschewed wearing a kilt and painting his face blue. Perhaps Panetta has the magic solution to the roadblocks and choke points that were baked into the system at the time of its founding. This whole ridiculous. Didn't somebody call yesterday and, well, maybe the president's not asking nicely enough. Really? All right. Corky in Rochester, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Corky.
Hello, Stephanie. I can tell you what happened exactly at that Dallas hospital.
Okay. What's that?
The guy said he didn't have any insurance, and they heard nothing after that. They didn't hear he came from Liberia, Africa. They didn't hear anything. All they heard was, I don't have insurance.
I think that may be a part of it.
Emergencies do. They stabilized them and sent them home. And that's why you got other people infected.
Yeah, well, could be.
Your Rick Perry and your Obamacare, do you want to take it? Now, people are uninsured and the hospitals can't afford to care for them.
Yeah, well, it is another, again, I think it was Rude Pundit or somebody wrote this week. I mean, this should argue, if anything does, for a single-payer system where we don't, it shouldn't take a patient with Ebola to have us go, oh, gee, here's the problem inherent in the system with people that are poor and have no insurance and end up, at the emergency room at a hospital. All right. So much more to come. Bob Cesca of the Daily Banter coming up 17 minutes after the hour. This hour of the Stephanie Miller Show brought to you by GoToMeeting. Trying to keep up with your workload when you're constantly out of the office can seem impossible, right? We're scattered hither and yon.
Tell me about it.
People on the East Coast that work with us.
And I can't be here in the studio all day long.
You spend enough time with me.
I know.
We use Citrix GoToMeeting. You can meet with clients, coworkers, even new prospects without having to leave your desk. Saves you time so you can get more work done. With GoToMeeting, you can meet with anyone from any computer, tablet, or smartphone. You can talk face-to-face with HD video conferencing while sharing screens to collaborate on documents and presentations in real time. That's the important thing. It's not just seeing each other face-to-face. You can both all see the same document, PowerPoint, graphics, anything you need to look at. You don't get to have the unnecessary time and expense of travel. GoToMeeting allows you to work smarter, more efficiently, take control of your time and resources. We highly recommend GoToMeeting. Try it today. Don't wait. Get started. Try GoToMeeting free for 30 days. That's right. I said free. Visit GoToMeeting.com. Click on the Try It Free button. That's GoToMeeting.com for your free 30-day trial. 18 minutes after the hour. Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
I got her.
The Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to Bob Cesca of the Daily Banter. Coming up at the bottom of the hour. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number. Stephen in Texas. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Go ahead.
Okay, so your
trying to play devil's advocate here, and the fact that, okay, so everybody's blaming the CDC. The CDC's blaming the hospital. Now they apologize. Everybody's blaming each other. People are saying we don't have Obamacare, blah, 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 blah. Whatever happened to the fact that the victim himself would have probably had a different outcome if he wouldn't have lied.
Yes, you're right. He shares some of the blame.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm trying to hinge on as far as the protocols are not set because for some reason, there's just a disconnect between stupid politicians, stupid government, those people in charge. We all know politicians. Left, right, doesn't matter where you're at. All of them make stupid decisions, and they just think that they're all just dumb. I mean, everybody knows that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the things I don't know if they factored in is human deception. But, you know, look, a lot of that's going on over there where there's so much fear. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just heard a story yesterday about some of the, families are trying to, like, bribe workers to, like, falsify death certificates to say it wasn't Ebola so they can have the body, to do the traditional burial, which, of course, is going to spread Ebola further because, that's...
Well, true. I understand what you're saying, and I can see that happening. But let's say for the aspect of arguing the point that it's not Obamacare is not the solution, CDC is not the solution, Rick Perry is not the solution. The solution is the human accountability to come into the country and say, you know what, I came here because I thought I was going to die in Liberia. I came here for a dying death. Like, I want to live. I got infected.
Yeah.
You can take quarantine. You do whatever you want.
Right.
But for the media, left or right, to say, you know what, it's Obamacare's fault or it's Rick Perry's fault, I think that's very naive in the fact that, no, the main situation is human accountability and being honest with what happened wherever you're coming from.
Right. You can hope for human accountability, but you can never depend on it. So, the hospital should have done everything it could.
I understand your point, but we can't make the assumption that Obamacare is going to save. We cannot make the assumption.
That Obamacare is what?
Was going to save him.
I don't think anybody ever said Obamacare was going to save him.
No, but the argument is leading to if Texas would have taken in Obamacare, then this guy may have had not been turned away.
I don't think anyone has brought Obamacare into it, and also it would be good if you took your phone out of your pants. No, I don't think anyone's brought Obamacare into it. I think,
but if he were automatically covered by insurance,
right,
then
we were talking about why the original mistake was made to send him away with antibiotics when he came in, and does it have to do with skin color or the lack of insurance?
Right. There wasn't a guarantee that he was going to pay the hospital, so they could give him the very basic of care.
I mean, if you want to speculate, well, yes, in that sense, maybe Obamacare would have saved him if he had insurance. Maybe they would have, they
would have paid more attention to him because they knew they were going to get paid for their services.
Right, and of course the hospital would deny all of that, but you don't know. Anyway, all right. Hey, back to other good news. ISIS.
Isn't there another worm story that you can read?
No, I'm all out of things in people's orifices.
There's a fish that can swim up your urethra.
Awesome. Okay, good. We'll get into that in just a bit. Trying to distract you from Ebola.
Sure.
These latest ISIS messages. Have I mentioned these are bastard people?
Yeah, they are.
I know I'm the only one to have discovered that.
And I'll tell you why I can't put up with you people, because you're bastard people.
So the headline: ISIS twists emotional knife with new hostage messages. Reportedly it's a message from one of the victims that was already beheaded, and another from a hostage who has said he may soon suffer the same fate. Both releases show them determined to pressure the Obama administration over the fate of a dozen or fewer remaining Western hostages, with emotional twists of the knife for the families of both the living and the dead. Stephen Sotloff, who was beheaded, apparently this was, I guess, purportedly a letter from him to his parents that said, to Mom, I do not have much time and will probably not get this opportunity again, so I'd like to get straight to the point. Your recent public video pleading to the caliphate not to kill me has been received loud and clear by them. However, this in itself is not enough to save me. Began a purported message composed before he was beheaded. The parents of another American hostage who ISIS said may be executed next week have made pleas to save their son's life. The agonizing letter purportedly written by Sotloff was likely not written by him, but by his murderers, officials say, insisted that his fate would be determined by President Obama's next judgment, and his mother can still save my life by not letting the American leader get away with murder again. The solution was simple. Sotloff's letter said, leave them to fight their own war. Meanwhile, ISIS released the latest in a series of programs, as they're calling them, by another hostage British freelance journalist who officials believe have been forced by his captors to blame the UK government for the video beheadings of his former cellmate. So, I just heartbreaking for these families, you know.
Just putting them through an emotional ringer on purpose. Oh, God. So cruel.
All right, we've tried to report some of the silver lining good news, and that is the King Charles Spaniel has been saved.
The one belonging to the nurse?
The Dallas Ebola victim nurse. I don't know his name, but he's really cute, very handsome, very romantic.
I'll bet his name is Puddles.
I do not believe that his name is Puddles, but I will Google it.
Okay.
Kelly Osbourne wants to adopt Joan Rivers' dogs. She has a Havanese, a Japanese Chin, and a Jack Russell Terrier, and a border collie. Colony? No, just a border collie.
Just one of them.
Not a colony.
Not an entire colony.
Colony.
Yeah. All right.
If her daughter Melissa Rivers approves of the idea, she's still sorting out her mother's estate, but is thinking about giving the dogs to Kelly, who's her fashion police co-star. All right, 29 minutes after the hour, Bob Cesca next on the Stephanie Miller Show. To Cesca for his shirt. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Loved your headline, the unforgivable hysteria of the news media's Ebola coverage. Once again, Don Lemon, fresh from holding the toy plane for the Malaysia airline thing, he actually he titled his segment "The Man Who Wrote the Book on Ebola," but he actually wrote "Outbreak," the Cloak and Dagger novel about Ebola. Which, yes,
I'm not sure what the hell that was, and I'm not sure how Don Lemon can actually sleep at night, especially after that segment. I mean, my God. I mean, you don't have a guy who wrote a novel. I mean, in the novel, there are evil doers who go around deliberately exposing people to Ebola in order to kill them. That's the idea of the novel. It's not like there's this outbreak or anything like that. That, is anything like what we're seeing right now. This is some sort of mass murder being committed by criminals in this book.
Right.
And saved on CNN to talk about Ebola as an expert.
Right, and saved by, of course, a heroic doctor. And not to mention it was written nearly 30 years ago, this novel about Ebola. I mean, but, this is what's passing for journalism these days, right?
Yeah. It's, and not only that, there was the other guy, Mehmet Oz, who has been saying the same thing that Robin Cook was on CNN, and it's this completely irresponsible idea that Ebola is going to mutate into becoming an airborne virus, and everyone then automatically flashes to the unrelated movie outbreak in the movie theater, where everyone's sitting there and the person with the dreaded Motaba virus starts coughing and all of the phlegm goes all over the movie theater, and then everyone else gets it.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
Well, you said this is the first time a so-called expert has appeared on television with the airborne virus. He's the Dr. Oz, by the way, the controversial cardiologist and fitness guru. But you were saying, it was interesting. You said you followed cable news for many years, and you think not since the lead up to the Iraq War has the American news media behaved with such recklessness.
Yeah. They really latched onto this thing, and they're completely irresponsible. It's really, really shameless. And this, for cable news to push the boundaries of shamelessness is quite a statement, because they really are. And this is, because, the reality is that every single expert says, you know what, there's nothing to worry about here. At least in the States, there's nothing to worry about. And yet it is like local news times 1,000 when there's about to be a snowstorm or maybe even just flurries in the forecast.
Right, it's
around the clock coverage.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to rush out and get bread, milk, and toilet paper.
Snowpocalypse.
This is exactly what they're doing with Ebola.
Stormwatch 2014.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with bleeding from the anus. That's the factor that they're multiplying.
There's a
literally,
big difference.
If it bleeds, it leads. But as you say, medical experts agree further it's highly unlikely Ebola could mutate into a form that alters its mode of transmission. That type of mutation would be unprecedented. There is no reason to believe that the Ebola virus is any different from any of the viruses that infect humans and have not changed the way they are spread. And I think that's important to point out, right?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is just in terms of the coverage itself and the people who are seemingly ignorant to all of this for the sake of ratings and so forth. I mean, there's not enough shame that can be tossed their way when it comes to this coverage. I mean, it's really the lowest low point, in cable news probably since the lead up to the Iraq War. And they're just seeming to ignore virologists and other experts in the field in lieu of just inciting all kinds of irresponsible panic. And I just can't say it enough. This is so beyond the pale of what cable news ought to be doing.
And I love that you call Matt Drudge's website Patient Zero in the wildly exaggerated flailing and panic mongering in the news media. And you said just a sampling of the apocalyptic top story headlines from Drudge. CDC chief, intensity of Ebola spreads unseen since AIDS. Custom agents, we're not prepared. Marine Corps holds pandemic outbreak drill. I mean, you can almost hear the air raid sirens, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can probably go to Drudge right now. I mean, don't do it. Don't literally go to Drudge.
Yeah, don't give them the clicks.
Don't do it.
But if you did, if you were insane and went to Drudge right now, you would see basically what it looks like at the end times. Because there's, just maybe 3 dozen Ebola headlines making it seem like you are just about to get it if you don't already have it and don't know it. But then beyond that, there's all of the ancillary things like the stock market and bodies falling from the sky and cats and dogs living together, fire and brimstone. And it's just this whole patina of the apocalypse at Drudge right now.
Right. I love that you say the whole overblown affair has taken on a fictitious summer disaster movie quality to it, that even though every epidemiologist in the field says there's absolutely nothing for Americans to worry about. How soon can it be before there's a Sharknado, a shark with Ebola? Right?
That's coming up later today on Don Lemon's show.
Could it happen? Could there be an Ebola-ridden Sharknado?
We're just asking.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have the producers from the Sci-Fi Network on this afternoon to talk about the very real possibility. The men and women who wrote the book on sharks with Ebola.
Right. What does Ian Ziering think? Yeah, I love that you quote Don Lemon. This kind of illness is probably the scariest thing we can deal with. And you said, really? The scariest? 2 people in the United States have contracted Ebola. 1 has died. How many Americans died of cancer so far this year? 585,720, right?
Yeah. But it's scary, Stephanie, because they're telling us it's scary. That's what's insane about this. It's not literally scary. It's just scary because Don Lemon and author Robin Cook have told us that it's scary. And, we eat this up. I mean, really, as a society, American society, we just look at this sort of thing and we buy into it. We think wrestling is real, and we think the threat of Ebola, getting that in Oklahoma City, is also real somehow. And it's just not. It's just absolutely not. There are a million other things we have to worry about that are way scarier than getting Ebola on that list. And
I try to counter it every day. We try to counter it every day. There was a woman that had a 3-inch leech up her nose. There's a guy in India that had a cricket living in his ear, Bob. There are clowns. There are clowns terrorizing Bakersfield.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, that's you know what? That clown is far scarier than anything I've seen in the news recently.
I think you may be right.
But
it's terrifying. It's just standing there, kind of staring.
I want to know what Robin Cook thinks about that scary clown.
Yeah. What does he think? Has he written a book?
He clearly hasn't seen it. And what if that clown has Ebola? And
right.
The Ebola that the clown is carrying is airborne.
Yeah.
And
I'm telling you, we're screwed. Clowns with Ebola, that's the end of the world as we know it.
And you would never know if it had Ebola because it paints red makeup around the eyes, so you don't know if it's bleeding from the eyes.
Right. Right. Is it painted blood or is it real?
Yeah. Who can say?
As you say, Bob, I totally sympathize with the challenging goal of filling 24 hours of airtime with news. I also sympathize with the challenging goal of acquiring ratings. Sadly, we live in a culture where the citizenry thrives on crapola programming like this. So, as you say, the sooner viewers run away from fiction disguised as news programming, the sooner news will stop marketing in it. But I don't have a lot of hope on that. Do you?
No, not at all. None. none, not a bit. And that's sort of. It's not very popular to say it. That it's not necessarily a chicken or the egg kind of thing. It's not necessarily the news media just feeding this stuff on whimsy. They feed us this stuff because we eat it. And the problem is that I think blame is spread pretty much 50-50 here. I mean, if we didn't watch it, they wouldn't do it. If we said, you know what, this Ebola coverage is sensationalistic and it's not even anywhere related to reality, and we're not going to watch it anymore, they would probably stop airing it. But that's never going to happen. They know how to press our buttons, and they know how to get us to tune in, and they're never going to stop doing it.
Yeah, and it started, you and I, grew up in the 70s, right, with the, local news, right? Something in your refrigerator could kill you. Details at 11.
Yeah.
What? Meanwhile, it's like, oh, you mean if I leave something in there for 4 weeks and then eat it and it's gone bad? Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. If CNN goes to Robin Cook and Dr. Oz as experts, why next won't they go to Stephen King, perhaps?
Yes, that's right. Because you could always be kidnapped by some crazy lady in Colorado and be hobbled by her as you have to write a novel, at an old typewriter.
Which is the most horrifying part.
Yeah.
All right.
Kathy Bates nailing you in the ankles with a sledgehammer.
Oh. It could happen. All right.
This is going to hurt me a lot more than it's going to hurt you. Wham.
Wham. All right.
You old cock-a-doodie.
You dirty bird. All right. Thank you, Bob Seska. See you next week.
Bye, sir.
All right, there he goes. There he goes. 45 minutes after the hour, right back with the remaining moment on the show. Welcome to it. 50 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number. Tomorrow, coffee with sexy liberal Carlos Alzraki.
Yep.
Right?
And the Rude Pundit.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's right. Rescheduled for tomorrow.
That's right.
Carlos, of course, star of the wildly inappropriate Happy Hour podcast last week, along with Jim Ward, which has the reviews are still rolling in.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's rocketed around people's headphones.
Woo! This week, Jim Ward and May Lee, who is really, really, even when she gets drinking.
She's going to tell stories about you. I would not miss this podcast.
Yeah, do it. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number. Sue in Rockville. Hello, Sue.
Good morning. You guys are geniuses, and you don't even know it.
Thank you. I know. No, I know.
You've come full circle because you started the show talking about those poor residents in the Bakersfield area who are being terrorized by clowns.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the plot of Stephen King's It is about children being terrorized
by clowns.
Magically. Yep.
So get Stephen King on. He can be the expert to comment on what's happening in Bakersfield.
And Stephen King also owns one of the radio stations that we're on.
Yes, he owns our Bangor affiliate.
Bangor?
Would be happy to come on. And by the way, I stopped listening to corporate media in 2003.
Good.
And I'm a lot calmer because of it. And one by one, I'm getting my friends to just move over to free speech and to leave corporate media. And, people just grew up with a TV on.
Yep.
And it takes them some retraining. And when I show them all the lies, slowly but surely, just turn it. If corporations own it, except for free speech and places that you can check, don't listen to them. All they're doing is stoking fear.
Slowly they're turning, step by step.
I'm terrified of clowns, so please no more clown stories.
Okay, all right, all right.
How do you think the people of Bakersfield feel?
Seriously.
Yeah.
We will turn to the fish that can swim up your urethra.
I tune those out now. Now I'm going la 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 la.
Yeah.
All right, honey. Thank you. By the way, Lisa says, Chris and Steph, I'm an emergency room nurse. While there are some patients I wish we could turn away, we don't. It's against the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act. Corky is full of... If he thinks the Dallas patient was sent home because he didn't have insurance, everybody must be treated and stabilized before being discharged or transferred to another facility. That patient lied about having contact with someone with Ebola, both when departing Liberia and entering the U.S. We nurses are not trained in how to protect ourselves from this virus. She was echoing what the nurse who called earlier said. So, that's part of the problem. It's, the human deception, like we were saying. I mean, that's I hadn't thought of that that's true, that, yes, they made a mistake in turning him away, but again, if he wasn't honest about
where he had been,
obviously wouldn't suspect Ebola, I guess.
Yeah.
At any rate, by the way, with all the tragedy going on, we lost a member of the Stephanie Miller Show family. I have to, this is a love letter of sorts, but Katie says, Steph, my dad sent you this letter and a few more over the past year. I love teasing him about his crush on you. My dad, Tim Knapp, passed away last week.
Oh.
He was one of the funniest, smartest, most generous people I've ever known. He was your biggest fan. If you could, please keep him in your thoughts. Remember, you were once adored by a pretty awesome dude. We'll keep listening in his honor and laughing right along with him, wherever he is. But you remember this. I have to read this because he was hilarious. Steph, since you never acknowledged my last love letter, the one I sent after you returned from your Maui trip and I dreamed that I was your bicycle seat.
Okay, yeah.
Tim,
that guy.
This guy.
I remember him.
Okay, maybe that was a little too explicit. Anyway, I've decided to approach our relationship from a different angle. I've decided to switch sides, surgically. If you remember, I'm male, 64, massively overweight. Here's my plan. First, I will lose about 200 pounds. Then I will get a modest yet attractive breast implants. All this time, I will be receiving estrogen regimen. Then, of course, I will need some extensive dental work. By the way, I hope you don't look down your nose at tasteful wigs. Then comes some fairly massive plastic surgery. They say they can take all the stretched and loose skin and pull around to my back and lace it up like a football. It won't look too bad if you never see me from behind. Then, of course, they will do the sex change. I was ambivalent about this at first, but since I'm rather fond of this part of my body. But then I thought, what the heck? I haven't seen it in years. Out of sight, out of mind, if you know what I'm saying. And I've already been doing a lot of preparing for this by working out religiously. You talked about Gary Player posing nude and doing 1,000 push-ups a day. Well, I do 1,000 push-ups a day, too, but I do them with my tongue. Okay, Steph, if I do all this, do I have a chance? Hopefully yours, Tim. That guy was funny. He's up there in heaven listening. Hi, Tim. Aw, thank you for sharing that story. He's hilarious. And he wrote a series of letters about the increasingly desperate measures he would go to be with me, which were hilarious.
Aww.
All right. Lois in Louisiana, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Lois.
Hello. Hi, Chris and Jim.
Hello.
Hello, Lois.
Hi, Stephanie and Chris.
Hi.
Scientists say we only use 80% of our brain. We have 20% that we do not tap into.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you and Chris use that other 20% that everybody wants to tap into.
Aww.
Because you guys are so funny. I haven't done anything this morning because I can't quit laughing at you guys.
Oh, Lois.
Thank you.
Love your show. Keep on keeping on because we're going to keep y'all on TV.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Lois. I appreciate it, but she is really wrong. If there was a diagram in my brain, that much fart jokes.
Yeah.
This much jokes.
Mine would be all beer.
Mine would be all and then the rest is Chardonnay.
Yeah.
But thank you, Lois.
Well,
Yes. This is one of the reasons we are doomed because we're a dumb nation. This is the only reason Ebola could spread because we are a nation of holes. Okay. This is the Gawker headline too. Holes. Spray Oklahoma Walmart merchandise with deer piss.
Why?
24 and 18-year-olds, for no apparent reason other than they were bored and are dumb, allegedly ruined about $2,500 worth of merchandise. How did Oklahoma Walmart store after spraying toys, fabrics, and shoes with doe urine?
How did they get doe urine enough to spray over a whole lot of things?
The mind reels, and I do not know.
Did they
just thought that would be
feed
fun.
a doe a lot of water and then just wait with a bucket?
I suppose that's as good as... Larry David, my buddy, my pal, has responded to Jennifer Lawrence's admission that she has a crush on him.
Oh, really?
He said, smart kid. It's a shame that I'm about 40 years older than...
Well, yeah.
I love Larry David. He listens.
He does? Yes. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Hello, Larry. You see, because that was a flop of a show.
All right, I got it.
Yeah.
Wow, there may be 2 women running for president. Lindsey Graham also. Would this make John McCain first lady? I don't know.
First dude?
Yeah, he's being teasy. He is being a teasy little Southern Belle Minx. If he does run, he can count on the wholehearted support of the 2008 Republican nominee, John McCain, right behind him. John McCain said, of course, we're the closest of friends. That he would be right behind Lindsey Graham.
Of course.
Should he, decided to run. Hillary may reveal her plans sooner than we think. By the way, we'll talk about that tomorrow. And also, the hilarious joke Mitt Romney is using about President Obama. Oh, you're not going to want to miss it. Okay.
Yeah.
That and Carlos Al's Rocky tomorrow on The Big Show. We'll see you then on The Stephanie Miller Show.